Hi everyone. Enterprises are moving to cloud in a big way. More and more applications are being migrated from on-premise to cloud. One of the major means of migrating and moving applications on cloud is to containerize them. Kubernetes has emerged as a default orchestrator for managing and running the containerized applications. We have seen a recent surge in adoption of container application. One of the major reasons for this increase in adoption is moving towards cloud. More and more enterprises are moving their application towards cloud. One of the major means to achieve this is to containerize the applications and make them cloud native or cloud agnostic and run them across different cloud platforms as well as on premise as well. As per the latest CNCF report, more than 90% of enterprises are running some or the other kinds of container workloads. Kubernetes has emerged as a de facto standard and orchestrator for running and managing container applications. As an ecosystem, Kubernetes has so many components that brings a lot of challenges for the operations team to monitor and manage these platforms. We have the underlying infrastructure if it is running on premise, or the cloud infrastructure if you are using cloud VMs to run your Kubernetes. Then we have the Kubernetes components and the applications are running on top of that. There are different metrics, there are different parameters that needs to be analyzed and monitored to make sure that we are covering the entire platform end to end. There are few tools that enable us to do so, but those are custom tools. It requires a lot of configuration. And then again, correlating information across these tools is a challenge. Looking at these challenges, we have come up with a Kubernetes monitoring solution that provides end-to-end view of your entire ecosystem. This helps you to monitor not only the infrastructure as the Kubernetes components as well as the applications running on top of it. The objective is not just to monitor the usage, but also to identify and help operations team to debug issues in your Kubernetes cluster. This is a summary dashboard which lists the high-level important metrics across the Kubernetes cluster, the number of nodes which are running and how they are performing, and the major resources, how we are doing on the cluster level in terms of memory, CPU, and disk. It also provides you a glance of the cluster usage or the workloads that are running on the cluster, like namespaces, pods, and services. You can see that how once we have that information, you can drill down into a specific, for example, you want to see that, okay, on a single node, what is the utilization, how many namespaces are running. So that kind of analysis can be done. The other way is that if you want to go into more details, so the pod details view shows you different dimensions of how the cluster resources are utilized by the containers and the pods. You can see total number of containers running, their current state. So if we see there is a pending container, which says that, okay, there is some sort of issue, we can just click on that. And we know that, okay, on which node it is running, right? Which namespace it is running. So we know that kind of analysis can be performed. For example, we can quickly check that, okay, the pending node is on node 2. So it shows it is on node 2. Right? So that way, and then we can identify the namespaces and the pod name as well, which is pending. So for example, if we look at that, we know that this is one of the pods which is pending, and we can actually debug it further. So not only it helps us in monitoring, but it helps us to debug issues as well. Some of the important parameters, like let's say the number of out of memory pods killed in last 1 hour. So if there is something which is pointing towards memory issue, we can see it right here. Or if there are any crash loopback errors, we'll also see it right here so that we can take some corrective actions. We would also see that what is the memory and CPU utilization at the pod level. So we can see for some of the pods, right, that there is no limit which is set, right, which is not a best practice. We need to have limits set towards for any of the pods that we are running. Else, it would take up the resources of the cluster and can starve other containers as well. So these are the kind of metrics that would help you to optimize the cluster as well. We would also show different kinds of events that would help you to debug, right? So what are the different, what is happening, right? So we can actually get a list of the events, and that would help us to know what's happening in the cluster. If there are any errors, right? If auto scaling happens, if let's say if a node goes down, all these things will be visible in the events as well. So it provides you an end-to-end monitoring and observability in terms of a Kubernetes cluster. We can add multiple clusters so that operations teams can get a high level view of the entire system, right, from a single dashboard. It helps us in quick debugging, it helps us in optimum resource utilization. You can also provide the access to the development teams to monitor their workloads and monitor the clusters they are owning. This entire solution is built on platform named Clara. It's a platform that provides you integration with different tools and help us to create applications faster, which provides quick value to the teams. We can extend it to create so many different dimensions where we can even manage these clusters easily. I hope this was useful. Thanks for your time.